Hi, my name is Gary Hauck. I'm the Dean for Instruction and Student Development here at Montcalm Community College. Today is July 30th, 2014, and with me is a long-standing adjunct instructor of mathematics, Bev Gates. And we wanted today to meet with her and have her tell her story of her experience here at MCC and tell us about what MCC has been like for her over these years. So, Bev, thank you for coming in today.
You're welcome.
You started MCC in what year?
1987, summer school.
87, wow. So what does that make, 38 years?
Yeah.
Okay, 30.
No, 28 years.
Making it worse than it was. So 28 years, okay. And you came in as an adjunct instructor in math.
Right.
Okay. So talk to us about your experience here at MCC. What courses have you been teaching for us?
I've taught mostly the introductory algebra, the intermediate algebra. I did a couple courses on trig quite a few years ago, but
Okay.
done the Math 050, the 075.
Okay.
So anything under Math 104 I've done pretty regularly.
Okay, good. So who else was teaching math back in that point in time when you first came?
Bev Gates was here. She was also an adjunct. Jan was the only full-time.
Jan Roy was already
Jan
here
Roy
at
was
that
the only
point.
full-time
Okay.
person.
Yep.
And, you know, I don't know the rest because I was teaching at night, and when you're here at night, you don't have the opportunity so much to meet everybody else. And we never had department meetings then
Okay.
so much. We never got together as a department.
Okay.
So.
How much smaller were the classes than they are now? Was there a major difference in the
Oh yeah,
size?
big difference.
Okay.
I remember one class, they registered like 50 people for my class.
Oh.
I didn't have enough seats in the room.
Really?
And
Okay.
yeah, there wasn't the control of the numbers and registration, and
okay.
we didn't have as good of testing for weeding out students and putting them in the right section that they belonged in. So yeah, it was really interesting.
So we had fewer classes. I'm sorry, we had fewer classes, fewer students, but larger classes.
Larger
Okay.
classes,
Ah,
yeah.
Very interesting. I didn't realize
And
that.
it was all lecture mostly then. That's the only way we taught, was to
Okay.
get up and tell everybody how to do the problem and hope they go home and,
Okay, sure.
and know how. And
All right.
so,
And when you started, we did not have Dozer or Ash, but we already had
No.
East.
it was
and
just East
West
and West.
and the admin building.
Right, the
Okay.
3 buildings. So.
All right. So what was it like being an adjunct instructor back at that time period compared to how it is today, if at all different?
It's a lot of difference now. Back then, you kind of felt like you were here all by yourself.
Okay.
Like I said, I came in for an interview with Dennis Mulder in the summer, and he wanted me to start in 2 weeks, and handed me the book and said, there it is. And I said, okay. It's been 10 years since I've been in the classroom, and I had no idea what I was even supposed to cover or do, or we didn't have the communication that we have now between our faculty. Jan has really developed that well.
She really has.
In getting, that we're all doing the same thing in all of our classes, we're covering the same material. We can, of course, do our own methods or however we like to teach, but basically, yeah. And at night, there was no administrators here, or the only support you need was maybe the teacher that you would meet next door that was there at night too.
Okay.
And then I taught in the summer too. When I first started, I taught both nights on the semester and then summer school. So I was running the hardware store in Crystal at the same time.
Oh, my. You get busy.
So I'd hurry up, close the store at 5 and get here at 6 to start class.
Wow, bless your heart.
So.
Oh, wow, that's great. So have the students changed in these 28 years at all?
I think the students have more difficulties now. They have hardships. They have harder lives. They're trying to deal with, you know, a lot of personal issues and divorce and the cost of living. And I think it was back then too, but I think now it's just more stress and pressure on our students. As gasoline prices go up, they don't have money to even get to class,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But basically, the night classes, though, are a lot different than the day classes. For me, I found the night classes were all the older students, people who are working during the day, and then we're taking their classes at night. During the day, you get younger students who are full-time and, you know, set on being here for 2 years and then going on to another institution or whatever.
Good.
But
Okay.
But yeah.
And you've had many roles here, and have many roles here at the college, not just instructor. You're also the head of the Lifelong Learners. What's your official title in that regard? You're the
President
of Lifelong Learners.
Yeah.
So for the benefit of those who are watching this some years from now, what is Lifelong Learners and when did that start?
Lifelong Learners was established by Les Morford and Pat Willison. They kind of did this with the Elder Hostel. And
What was Elder Hostel? What's
the
that?
Elder Hostel, that's a national group for seniors.
Okay.
And they originally were a part of that. And yeah, it's the idea that you're never too old to learn. And now we've taken away this year that you don't have to be a senior to belong. Anybody can belong, 18 and older, because learning isn't about your age. It can happen anytime. But yeah, I started going to the meetings, you know, and then all of a sudden they had an election for the board, and I said, well, no, I'm teaching, I can't work it into my schedule. Well, that's okay, you can just be an at-large board member. And then before I knew it, yes, then I was president, so.
Wow.
And I keep asking somebody, do you want to do it? And nobody
Okay,
else
you
seems
do
to
a
want to do
wonderful
it yet,
job.
so.
You're a great coordinator. And a great
But it's a nice
coordinator.
organization. It's, we only meet 4 meetings in the spring and 4 meetings in the fall. And we bring in speakers, a lot from our faculty. We have a great resource here of information and to share. And from the outside too, when we can. And we only do it in April, May, and June, and then we do it in September, October, because our snowbirds go south. So if we do it in the dead of winter, then we don't have very many of our members around.
And you're also doing more now at the Greenville campus as
Yeah,
well.
a lot of our members are in Greenville, and I thought, why are we always coming here? And so we looked into that possibility, and the Greenville people love it.
Good.
In fact, I think now they would like to have all of them there.
Oh, okay.
But
Is it
I don't
50-50
want to,
now?
yeah, it's
Okay.
50-50 now. And we were going to do it, maybe one session here, one session there. But, us seniors, they probably wouldn't remember which campus we go to. So we decided the best way for people to keep it straight would be to do one semester. Like in the spring we meet here, and then in the fall we meet in Greenville.
That makes sense.
And then the speakers, we arrange, the speakers split that way as to where it'd be the most convenient for that speaker also.
Okay.
Whether it'd be more convenient here.
Now,
or
did you
in
say
Greenville.
what year this was started?
In 1987, I
In
think
87.
it
Oh, the year you
was.
came.
Or, well, yeah, you know what, I don't know.
Okay,
I
but
have-
somewhere around
yeah,
there. Okay, and
yeah.
I can check with Les also if he has
Yeah.
those notes. So you mentioned Les and one other name. You mentioned
Pat Willison, she was the, in charge of our community,
outreach.
community outreach program.
Was she a dean or?
Yeah, she was
Okay.
also the instigator for Santa Super Sunday. She was the one that ran that for many years.
Okay.
Also got me involved in that one too, and doing the craft session on that.
Was she solely an administrator, or was she also a teacher?
No, she wasn't a teacher at all.
Solely an administrator.
Solely, I think when she left, Susan Hado kind of took her
Took over,
place,
yeah.
but Susan has, I think, more jobs to do. But Pat was the, community outreach and working with local businesses
Okay.
and
And Pat's not here now.
no, she retired.
Okay.
So when she retired from Santa Super Sunday, so did I, but I'm still going back now.
Okay, yeah.
Then my husband started to get involved in Santa Super Sunday, so.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if anyone else has talked about that aspect yet. So talk to us about Santa Super Sunday.
Well,
and
Santa
what
Super Sunday was started, I know we celebrated the 25th anniversary of it, so it's been going on for, I would guess, 30 years.
Okay.
It's a way of the college giving back to the community. It's really a great way to start the holiday season. That's why I always love doing it. It's a lot of work. It's all done by volunteers here at the college. And they get donations from area businesses, and they have Santa here, and they have crafts for the kids to do, and the pool is open, and they have sleigh rides or sled rides or wagon rides, whatever is appropriate for the weather. And they go over to Heritage Village and go to the general store, and it's just really a nice way to start the holiday. It's 4 hours, I think it's from 1 to 5 we used to do it, 4 hours of absolute chaos, the kids everywhere. But in the end, everybody has a good time, and Val Vandermark has her carolers around singing, and you know, it's evolved every year. And then the last few years they've had the clowns. My husband is a clown, and he brings his friends here,
about that, yeah.
and they do face painting, and I have to clarify that he's not a funny man, he's a professional clown. Whenever I say he's a clown, everyone says, "Oh, well, Bruce, yeah, well, no, he's a professional clown."
He's a real clown.
Yeah, so they've done face painting, balloon tying, and so whatever events they can have for the kids. And now it's taken the change. Now they've done the Heritage Village. They're doing it the last 2 years.
Right, and I think this year it's going to be more of a hybrid again with
Yeah.
many things here on the campus and also the village as well, because we had, as you know, one of the hardest winters we've had for a
Right.
long time with very cold weather. And speaking of that, I recall Jean Brundage, now deceased, the late Jean Brundage, saying that one of the years was so cold. Her story, and I'm not sure if it's apocryphal or not, was that she was in the log house and a child knocked some of the hot chocolate and it went to the floor and it froze on the floor immediately.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
Yeah,
probably
she
had
was
some
always
harsh
over at
winter.
Heritage Village doing that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the board members would always come
Mm.
from, you know, from the people who are on our board
Sure.
would come and help out. And,
Oh, I know Karen Carbonelli is all
Yeah.
so supportive of this program.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good.
but
What else, Bev? What else have you had roles in here at the college campus?
I teach some of the non-credit classes.
Oh, what do you
That's
teach?
kind of fun,
Mhm.
crocheting mostly. I've taught one on health, being vegetarian, and
Mhm.
we did a web a Skyping with Dr. McDougall in California for that. That was kind of fun to do.
Mm.
That was my first experience with Skyping. The technology is really hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
And it was really kind of fun. You know, he could see us, we could see him, and he's the one with the credentials to talk about that. I don't have the credentials to talk
Okay,
about health
yeah.
and diet, but I follow a lot of what he does, and
Hmm.
so that's kind of fun. That's kind of nice to be out of mathematics.
Yeah,
You know, I don't have any
yeah.
papers to grade, or it's just kind of fun. The ladies are, even I had a gentleman come and crochet when we did these rugs with old sheets that you'd make strips of the material and crochet with them. And I had a man in the class for the first time, which was kind of nice. But yeah, they like to just come and sit and crochet and chat. And so
You know, no one else has talked about the non-credit side of the house. Yeah, we do offer non-credit classes. How long do those run? Where do they meet? And how
well, they're all different. Like for my crochet, sometimes I'll have just one class, and Susan tries to get some in Greenville, some
Susan
in
Hatto, yeah.
some in Sydney. My husband teaches face painting and balloon tying, balloon sculpture, and this semester I think he's here on campus at Sydney, and in last semester he was over in Greenville, so she tries to make it available in both campuses or wherever, so it's easier for people to get to. But there's everything from cake decorating to learning guitar. I've taken classes, that's also fun to do, to just be a student for a change. And I've taken the guitar class, I don't know how many times. I took the same class
Wow, yeah.
just because, to just go and have someone to play with. There's also academic, you can learn things on the computer. So it's a nice rounded offering that they give.
An important part of being a community college.
Right.
Responding to needs
And
that
I
are
think
brought our
the
way.
classes are reasonable as far as cost. And the time, I like to do my crochet when it's not snowing time, because most of my students are ladies and they don't want to
Sure.
drive in a blizzard. So I'm starting one in September and it'll be done in October. It's going to be an Afghan.
Ooh, nice.
But yeah, I've asked the ladies what they like to learn, and then the next semester I offer the class.
So have you taught classes, going back to Skype, on Skype or about Skype?
No,
Okay.
I just have used Skype.
You used to use
That's
Skype.
all.
Okay, all right. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm Skyping 2 Chinese instructors next week to teach Mandarin for us for our first time ever this fall, and they're still both in China. So
Oh,
I've got
yeah.
to use that venue to interview them.
Right.
It'll be a fun way to interview.
Yeah, Skyping is really, the technology just blows my mind.
Yeah,
As to when we
sure.
start, I remember the purple ditto machines
Oh,
and the
yeah,
black
yeah.
mimeograph,
Yeah,
that everything you
yeah.
own had purple or black on
Me
to
too.
make a copy of something.
Sure, yeah.
Trying to type those things up, the time it would take to make a correction and scrape off the wax.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah. They
now,
put paper on the typewriter for corrections.
now with, the copy machines we have and the facilities we have for teaching are so great. I mean, it's so nice that I can take my textbook and put it on a projector and show what I want to talk about. Or
Sure.
Our technology is wonderful,
It is.
and our support staff for our technology is wonderful.
They are great.
They know me by heart. You know? I come early just to make sure everything is working all right. And sometimes it's something very stupid I forgot, like taking the lens cover off of the projector. But most of the time they're very gracious and happy to help. And
Me too.
I always feel glad when they come and they can't figure it out right away, because I think, okay, then this was
Wasn't
a
just
legitimate
me.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay for me to do this because I couldn't,
Exactly.
I couldn't figure it out.
Well, you mentioned textbook, and my guess is that when this DVD or this video is next viewed, there might not even be a thing like textbooks. It might just all be electronic. So textbooks may be a thing of our era and before, but not in the future. So it'll be fun, I think, for them to see comparisons of what it was like back in our day and what it's like then.
Well, it is now. I mean, now in our math we give them the option of buying a book or they have to buy the online component that goes along with our textbook.
Yeah.
And in that online component they can view a textbook.
Yeah.
So, if they want to look at the chapter and read or whatever, they can do that, but it's online.
Sure.
But a lot of our students, I hesitate to go too much online because a lot of our students do not have fast internet. Or
Yeah,
do
not yet.
And if they have, and they can come here, but that also presents a hardship if they have kids, or then they have to have a babysitter, whatever. So my online part, I give them the option. They can do all their homework online, or they can do their homework from the textbook, or they can do mix of both.
Awesome.
So that they have that choice,
Yeah.
because some people, when Jan taught the first online math class in the summer, I asked her if she'd sign me up for her class so that I could see what it was like. I couldn't get through it. I do a computer what I need to do on the computer, but they had the graphing part, and I'd be taking it and trying to get my point where I wanted it, slip and go in the wrong spot, and it'd start me all over again in the lesson because it took it to mean I didn't understand it, rather than that I just couldn't handle the computer well.
Totally understand that.
So I can imagine nowadays our students, they're starting so early in school. It's nothing. I mean, I had 5-year-olds help me with my Nintendo.
Yeah. My
Showing me
kids,
how it works.
my kids have to help me all the time.
Yeah.
Even if
Or my iPhone or whatever. I'll say the kids. I had 2 kids here from Spain, 15 and 12 years old, for the last 5 weeks. They know more how to use my phone than I do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, me too.
I can say, "You sure you know what you're doing?" Yeah. Don't worry about it. You know what you're doing. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the technology has grown so fast.
It has. So as you think back on your years here, what other things come to mind that are memorable, that are outstanding, either about the college or the college family, administrators, instructors, students? Any stories that jump out at you, or memories that would be of interest?
Only that I've had to call the ambulance a couple of times, and no one else seems to have had to do that.
What happened?
I had a young student who was just, I think, 16, 17, who had a pacemaker.
Oh.
And luckily, her friend was taking her classes with her because they knew if she had a problem.
Wow.
And first day of class, she passed out in the classroom, and then of course the girl explained to me why, and we had to call an ambulance for her.
Wow.
I had another woman who just went, said she couldn't feel her legs, and and I said, well, you certainly can't drive, and I asked her if I could call an ambulance, and so she gave me permission to do that, but I probably would have anyway.
Wow.
But it seems like it always happens, and my math gets a bad rap for that.
What are you guys doing to those students?
Yeah, first day of class, it's like, okay, that's some way to start a semester.
Wow.
The most memorable for me is the first day of class. No matter how many years you teach, that first day of class, you're always not nervous, but it's what to expect, a new start. And 2 years ago, I got up in the morning early because I was so excited school was starting. And I was taking some medicine that made me dizzy, and I fell and broke my arm.
Oh my.
Well, I just fell in my kitchen. This was at about 5 o'clock, so I hollered for my husband to come help me because I couldn't get up. And I said, okay, I'll go take a shower and get dressed, and then you can take me to the ER and then take me to the college. because I had all my stuff ready.
My gracious.
And so he walked me into our bathroom, and I just stood there for a minute. I said, I'm going to pass out. And I did. And he guided me to the toilet, and I came to, and I said, I don't think I'll be going to school today.
Man,
But that was really tough. I've never ever missed the first day of class, and I couldn't call anybody at that time in the morning. And I tried to, I did call the college because the switchboard wasn't open.
Yeah.
And so I did get them in, but it was too late because my class started early, so they didn't let my students know. So that was the hardest thing I ever remember.
When was that, Bev?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, it was, and then that was the challenge. That was the biggest challenge of my life because my cast, they had to put me. They put me out. This was on a Monday, and on Tuesday I had to have a surgery to reset my arm. And then they put me in a cast that went from my fingers to my up here, so my arm was like this. And I got home from the hospital at like 8 o'clock at night, went to bed, got up the next morning, and came to school and taught.
Oh my!
And that was before Labor Day. I thought, okay, if I can get that Wednesday in, then I'll be able to get my life recovered, and by the time after Labor Day. And when I came back after Labor Day, I asked the students, did I make sense when I was here? Because, I don't remember, I really don't remember teaching that day very well. I was still, I think, drugged from the anesthetic. So it was an interesting start of the year. But
I do recall you being in that cast.
Yeah, and that was a challenge. I had to wait out in the parking lot, and people passed. I said, can you take the briefcase out of my car, please? Can you put it in? Because I couldn't lift with it. But I got through it all right, and again, because of our technology, it made it possible, with being able to sit and part of the class and use the overhead more than what I usually do, but and luckily it wasn't my right arm, it was my left arm, and I'm right-handed, so that was a good thing. But.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm very careful on first day of class.
Yeah.
Okay,
a good
I made
thing.
it this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, bless your heart.
It's something
You're
you don't think
a
about.
real trooper. Yeah, that's all right.
But just some of the things that I've really appreciated being here is, I've taught a lot of years between teaching here, 28 years. I've taught 10 years in the high school.
Yeah.
And all the teaching, you think, okay, you're going to get staled. You're going to get just same old, and with the things we've tried here, it's really kept our education up to date. I mean,
Good.
we've really tried a lot of things. I've learned, I still learn every day. You always learn from when you're teaching. You learn as much as what you're teaching.
Absolutely.
And I think some things worked well. I remember one year we did something with the engineering in, it was over in Flint. We did a program, and they had this, we put a TV in our room, and the person on the TV would lecture to the students, and we would just sit in the room. That was so hard, to just sit there, let them do the teaching, and then afterwards we were there to go over things or ask questions. And we only did that one semester, but, we tried it. We tried it. And, Jan really keeps up, Jan Roy really keeps up on what's new in mathematics, and when they told me I had to use a calculator, I said, oh my gosh, I have to use a calculator. Because we never allowed students to use calculator. We made them think out the problems and learn the math. That's the other thing that I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
I kind of just close my eyes when I see students multiplying 2 times 5 on a calculator. You just want to say, okay, get over it.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
having to do fractions on a calculator because they can't do them.
Sure.
They don't know how to add fractions.
It's like GPS and folks knowing their way around the county.
Yeah.
So sure, it's similar.
But a GPS, you still have to know. I mean, you still have to have an idea. I know when I go down to Detroit, the way it wants to take me, I would never ever go, you know.
Yeah.
So you still have to use your mind some. I guess with the calculator you do too.
You do
but
too. That's a good point.
they're getting kind of scary what they do. I think we lose a lot in the mathematics, the content. I think we've lost a lot. But I was taught old school mathematics that it wasn't about just taking a square root. How do you take the square root of a number? Just press the button on a calculator. But the algorithm for doing that is really quite, to me it's exciting how that was developed. I still show my students even sometimes. If I have time, I'll say, you need to know this because I think today's students think everything is there and you press the button and
Right.
but they don't know why it works or how it works. So
Sure.
I think
understand
we're losing that in our math, and
Yeah.
that bothers me.
that. Can be. And I'm glad you mentioned the TV era, because there was an era not only here at MCC but elsewhere where the big push was distance learning through TV,
Mm-hmm.
and it was short-lived.
Yeah.
Even in Michigan State, it was very short-lived. So we thought that we had an idea that would catch, and it really never did. So.
Well, it can be nice for the high schools. I
Mhm.
know they've taught some languages that way because
Yeah.
they don't have enough students. The smaller schools don't have enough students to have one teacher to teach French or something.
Mhm.
But I think even that's done less and less now.
Yeah, I
don't
think you're
know how
right.
much
I
that's
think it
done.
is. Yeah.
But it's
Very good.
hands-on. One thing I will never do is teach an online class.
Okay.
I will never ever do it.
Okay.
I just can't imagine doing that. I would miss so
Hard
much.
for math, yeah.
I would miss so much
I
of
taught
the
philosophy this year
interaction.
online, but it's not quite the same thing with a science
Yeah.
like math. You know.
I never forget my niece told me she was doing speech online. I said, how do you do speech class online? How do you do that? She said, well, you get your friends together and you videotape it and give the teacher the videotape. And I said, that's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same as getting up in front of a group of strangers and trying to hold their interest in
Mhm.
what you're talking about. But,
I agree with you.
you know, it's the changing times.
It
and
is.
Just cell phones in the classroom. Never had to deal with that years ago.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
yet they're, I guess, I wouldn't be here without my cell phone. I
Sure.
forget my cell phone. I forgot my cell phone. I got to go back home.
Yeah.
I lived without my cell phone for a lot of years,
Oh, yeah,
and I
yeah.
never had a problem.
Me too. Now we're
But we get
addicted to
so dependent on
it.
it.
Sure, absolutely.
So,
Good. Great, Bev. Anything else you can think of that would be of interest?
no, I think part of why I love being here, I love being a part of the community. I live in the community. I just always like to do that. When I taught in high school, it was the same. I like to live where I taught. I like to be involved in the activities that went on. I feel sorry for some of those people who don't. I realize a lot it's a distance or they have other things going on in their lives, but I think for me that's been a real important part of being here. Is it's nice now that I know more people. Maybe longevity has to do with that. I don't know, being the oldest adjunct. That's a thing that
You are the oldest adjunct, aren't you? At least
I've been here the longest.
term adjunct that we
Yeah.
have. Yeah, exactly.
But you know, it's always. I understand the reason for adjuncts. I mean, it gives the college a lot more flexibility in scheduling classes and who's available when. The downside of that is I know we've had some bad experiences with
Yep.
some adjuncts, and I feel sorry for the students when that happens. But hey, that's part of their life too. Is getting along with everybody.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and I've had some instructors over the years in my education that I learned from in negative examples as well as positive.
yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
there's no way. Well, thank you, Bev. Thank you for all you do for MCC and all you have done over the years and will continue to do.
For the next 50, so
For
when
the
this
next 50,
capsule's
that's
opened
right.
up, we can look at it.
They'll know you well, absolutely. Bev Gates, instructor adjunct at MCC in our Department of Mathematics and the president of Lifelong Learners at MCC. Thank you, Bev.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.